Alright guys, Cal here. So let's talk a bit about Shane Dawson, shall we? To be honest, he's someone who doesn't need any introduction. For better or worse, you probably know who Shane Dawson is. And let's be clear, it's absolutely for worse. In fact, I went back and forth on doing this video altogether because usually my intent with a video is first and foremost to make people laugh. And honestly, what's funny about a racist bigot who has multiple times shown himself to have some strange attraction to children? Absolutely fucking nothing. This is a man who's done blackface several times, he's kissed children, he's asked children to twerk on an Omegle call in front of his mum, who actually encouraged it. He's talked jokingly about his abuse of animals, he's pretended to masturbate to Willow Smith when she was underage, and even created a show with the Fine Brothers that was based solely around an underage girl who was abused by every male adult that came into contact with her. Because that's comedy, apparently.
Shane, it's fucking bad.
Why don't you touch yourself a little bit?
What do you mean, like my face?
Wait, you're not moving your lips.
Oh, like my face?
No, touch a little lower.
Like my underdeveloped breast?
Hey, who the fuck is this guy, Millie? Millie, who the fuck is this guy?
Why are you so angry?
I'm gonna fucking rape you, bitch! Turn the fuck around! Turn the fuck! Oh,
Wait,
hey,
Billy,
put the camera here!
Billy!
What's funny about a man like that? Just simply nothing. In fact, maybe the only thing that's funny about Shane is that he has the gall to put his name to a makeup palette when this is his best attempt at makeup.
No.
Sashay away, Shane. Just fuck off. Yep, when I get monetized eventually, my CPM is going to be through the floor. But despite it not being maybe the funniest topic in the world, I had a burning desire to cover this today. So let's talk about Shane Dawson's inevitable return to YouTube, because it's happening right now, unfortunately. As you probably know, all the awful things that Shane Dawson has done in the last 10 years or so have caught up with him this year, and unlike previous dramas where he's been able to shrug them off and just carry on like nothing's happened, this time it actually had an effect. People started to properly care, which was quite nice to see, to be honest, and he left the internet for a while. Good riddance, you know? He'd done some pretty shitty stuff, so it was quite nice to see. But unfortunately, it was never going to be forever, was it? And in the last few weeks, Shane started to rear his head again. Bit by bit, he's coming back to the internet. But you might not have heard much about this because he's gone about it in quite a clever way, to be honest. He's taken a more reserved approach. If you go on one of his YouTube channels, you won't see anything new on there. He's kind of let them just stay there untouched for a while now, and that seems like it's going to be the case for at least a few more weeks, into the new year at least. But if you take a trip on over to his boyfriend's channel, his boyfriend Ryland, then you'll see that Shane's made quite a few appearances now, and he's slowly but surely introducing himself again to his fanbase. His fanbase that, if they get onto this video, I'm sure will absolutely destroy the comment section down below, to which I say, no, please don't comment down below. Please, oh no, don't do it. Don't comment. I would hate that if you commented something. Definitely. The first video on Ryland's channel that Shane featured in was this bedroom makeover video, in which he wastes absolutely no time in letting the audience know that he's badly done to, and you know, you should feel sorry for him because in some way he's a victim.
Why do you seriously hate bedrooms though? I can't figure it out.
I've talked to my therapist about it. It's a trigger, a little PTSD, a little trauma, a little fear, a little afraid of like what's gonna happen in the night.
And to be fair to him, he may genuinely have trauma to do with that. I'm not doubting that for a second, and he's a human being at the end of the day. He should be shown some level of compassion. But between that comment and the comment he makes later on in the video, he's not really giving off the sense that he's learned anything from this year, and that he feels like he has some making up to do and growing as a person. More so, it paints a picture of a person who feels sorry for themselves and wants to guilt trip their audience, which, frankly, is exactly what Shane loves to do.
Yeah, most bedrooms don't have, like from when I grew up, and I know all the comments, here Shane goes again talking about being poor. I get it, I'm not poor anymore, but when I was poor, having a bedroom that is a shape is like, that's already, like, grateful for that.
Decade.
15 years of hate comments. Ooh, got me a big old square room.
Wow, he's such a man of the people. And so relatable as well. Also, just a quick side note that he says this later on in that video.
I have bats. I can protect both of us. I'm like 5 foot nothing and I can save us.
You can't protect us from a demon. Nobody can.
And a word of advice, if you don't want demons in your house, I'd recommend not befriending one and often inviting them over to your house. Sorry, mansion. Don't befriend them and invite them over to your mansion. Seems counterintuitive. Just a little word of advice for you there, Shane. You're welcome. And this video isn't alone because Ryland has released multiple videos on his channel that feature Shane not only in the video, but within the thumbnail of the video itself. And honestly, like I said, it's clever. You slowly but surely introduce yourself back to your fan base, and these will be his most hardcore fans because they're not only interested in Shane, they're interested in Shane's boyfriend as well. So you make sure that you have that secure base underneath you and you still have the support of those fans. And then, and only then, do you go back to one of your main channels where you can then open yourself up to a bit more criticism. But you've already built up that swell of support from your most loyal fans. So really, it's a smart move. A cynical move, but I'd say a smart move. And make no mistake, this man definitely has a large amount of fans still. And why is that? Because honestly, the world at the moment is about as unpleasant as foreplay with a sheet of sandpaper or lukewarm milk. You know, they're equally disturbing. And that's the state we're in right now. How do I know that he still has a healthy amount of fans? Well, across social media, there's still a lot of support for him, as well as a lot of the criticism he gets. You'll find a lot of people who just want him to come back and are more than ready to forgive him for all of his actions over the last 10 years. And forgiveness is great, you know. We really should forgive people, but only if they show that they've changed and he has a consistent track record of just being a shit. Also, on top of that, he's been plugging merch in the last couple of weeks, and people have been snapping it up. Worst of all, he's just launched a slime range that he's selling on his website, and I'm assuming they're only being sold to children, because what adult is buying Shane Dawson slime? And given the context of why he's had to leave the internet, it's problematic, to say the least. You wouldn't think it possible for Shane Dawson to be back on YouTube, back on the internet, for a couple of weeks, not even fully, and already have been cancelled, been called out on some more absolutely just unpleasant behaviour. It is possible. You see, fresh uproar came out recently when Shane and Ryland got a new kitten, and they announced that they got this new kitten, and within a week the kitten had unfortunately passed away. And I think it's fair to say that that passing away was absolutely avoidable, and although not due to malicious actions, was directly caused by the negligence of Shane and his partner. So understandably, people are a bit annoyed.
Our kitten, Mario, is no longer with us, and I honestly don't even really know how to comprehend it because it was going so well. He was getting used to the dogs as well, and it was going really well, and there were no signs of anything going wrong. And so Shane and I were sitting in the beauty room like we would do most nights with the kitten, and we had the door cracked a little because the dogs would come up to the door, and we wanted to get them...
Start introducing.
Yeah, with their scents and everything. And I think Cheeto and Mario had just gotten so close and comfortable together that while we were sitting in the beauty room with the door cracked, Cheeto ran out of the room and Mario chased him. And before Shane and I got up to go out to the family room, an incident had already happened.
Yeah.
And as soon as we're on our way, the hissing, the noises happen. And whatever happened had already been done.
Any quick 5-second Google search can tell you that huskies just don't mix well with cats particularly kittens. And it's that kind of negligence that led to the life of this kitten being lost at such a young age. It's really simple to avoid this, and yet they didn't care enough to. And for that reason, when Shane says this on Ryland's podcast,
The last 4 days or however many days it's been has been like so awful, but also so beautiful, and like I've learned so much, and I feel like a lot of the things that helped me maybe could help anybody watching who maybe has just lost a pet. Because I know for me, like when I was searching, I feel so ugly when I was searching.
And Ryland has this to say on the same podcast.
Begging and pleading for his forgiveness, but I just don't think I have to believe so that I don't lose my own mind that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't personally feel that much sympathy towards them, because sure, on a human-to-human basis, it's awful that that's happened for them, and I think they have a right to grieve. But ultimately, they're not the victims in this, are they? Of course they're not the victims. The victim in this is that kitten. And if it weren't for their actions and their lack of care, then that kitten would still be happily alive. But it's not, because they couldn't do the little bit of research and take the little bit of care that it takes to care for that cat properly. Or maybe they should have just not adopted that cat at all in the first place, because nobody should adopt a cat and it last a week in their care. That's not on. The final note I'd like to end this, admittedly more ranty, more serious video on, is that during that podcast, Shane Dawson had this to say about the whole cancellation that's happened to him this year.
So it's like it was planned. You know, like Mario came when I needed him most, and I needed to feel unconditional love, and I needed to remember, like, I don't know, I don't want to get too much into the internet shit because it feels so stupid right now, like, to even think about that. But it was.
The internet thing is not just some stupid little thing, Shane. Being exposed for racism is not stupid. Being exposed for being creepy around children is not stupid. They're major, they're serious things, and maybe you should care a little more. In fact, I tell you what is stupid. It's this nonsense that Shane was spouting for a good 5 minutes before he said this.
And what she said was, no, they're going to be with you because you're there. Your soul is there. And your whole soul family, every lifetime, makes a commitment to each other. Like, okay, in this lifetime, you're going to be a YouTuber. You're going to have this struggle and this struggle and this struggle. You're going to find love here, here, here. And then the other, you know, your soul was like, okay, well, I'm going to be your match. And then the pets are like, okay, well, I'm going to be there for you in this time. I'm only going to be there for 2 weeks when you need me. Oh, sorry. You know, like, every soul made a commitment.
Shut the hell up, man. That is pure, unadulterated waffle. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like this video. Comment down below what you think of Shane Dawson returning to the internet and this whole situation with his cat, because I'd really be interested to hear what you all have to say on it.